if you have a bunch of free tests and you don't work out and you don't do anything that requires an extra amount of testosterone to help promote these processes of like muscle protein synthesis or the trigger of mTOR in your muscle cells, whatever that may be, so your sex drive increases a lot. That's why there's a lot of horny guys out there. It's not.
Yo, what the hell's a water buffalo?
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Old School Matt here. We are back with another Buff Talk. This is episode number 3. We are here with the co-host, sous chef Levi Ruiz. Without further ado, this podcast is going to be a little bit more towards our venue, a little bit more towards our avenue of what we do here at Water Buffalo. We're going to be talking about lifting today, so let's get into it. What's up, Levi? How's everything been?
It's been all right. It's been a little while since we got back together, but that's just because we're grinding, so that's how it should be.
Yeah, it's been like a couple days, I think, couple weeks. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. But everything's been great. We've been grinding really hard. Levi's been working a lot at his actual job, and we decided to come today. His actual job. We decided to come together today, talk a little bit about lifting. This topic's kind of been on my mind, obviously, for a while that I want to do a podcast on, and I haven't really been able to talk to people out there about, lifting weights, bodybuilding, training, and whatnot. And I never really put anything out there about myself and what my philosophy is, what my, I guess the bigger picture in terms of training is, not just the physical aspect of it. So it's going to be a great podcast, and let's just get into it. So
yeah, honestly, I feel like when you lift, it helps you in all the other parts of your life.
I definitely agree. We're kind of talking about it.
That was the overall topic, but I want to take that and I want to dive into some specific examples.
Let's just start off with, how did you get into working out? What was talk to me the first day in the gym, if you remember.
Well, I think it was probably I was really weak, and then I was starting back. Well, there was I had this forced to lift phase, stopped lifting because I was I'll never get big.
Yeah,
and then this growing to love lifting, and I think it started with being on the basketball team. No, I didn't make the basketball team. Didn't make tryouts. Sorry, but I was. Yeah, how before tryouts you lift with them, you go to study halls and stuff like that. I would go to the weightlifting, and I would just start working out there. I think my first bench max was 85 pounds. Everyone made fun of me, and then 50% was your first percent was the bar. Yeah, and I remember I could only do 9 of the bar and stuff like that. I was really skinny. I looked like I was a high school freshman and sophomore both years. I looked like a 12-year-old.
No way.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture later, but It was really bad.
What? Because the reason why I kind of asked you this question too was because when I started getting into lifting, we knew each other back in the day.
Oh, that was farther into my.
That was further into your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, because you're a little older than me, but I guess I started off lifting in my neighborhood gym because an older friend of mine started getting into it, and he would be there, and we'd always go there and just do random exercises, not even knowing what to do. I remember I tried P90X for 4 or 5 days online.
I used to think that was cool, especially the commercials.
Yeah.
It was 3 months and you can get jacked.
I mean, it honestly, dude, besides all the BS, it's not bad. If someone actually does it and listens. Tony Horton's actually a really, really smart dude. He's got a lot of good content out there. I know people think it's stupid and stuff, and a little bit of a marketing scheme where they try to pitch this perfect body within a short period of time. Mm-hmm. But the workouts and stuff like that on there are actually really good. During the beginning of quarantine, I actually did some of his chest and back, way back in the day. They have them online for free. Just some of his pull-up, push-up workouts. They're really good. But yeah, I got into lifting because other people. It was literally because other people were influencing me to do it, and I had never really done it in the past before. I was 13 or 14 years old, and obviously one of the big reasons was, the big reason you get into lifting for.
To look good for girls.
Yeah, for girls. And
I just want a nice girlfriend, and they won't date me, bro. I remember. I don't want to interrupt you, but actually, my current girlfriend knows this story. But I remember. Have you seen the movie Captain America: The First Avenger?
Yeah,
bro. So he goes from 0 to hero. He comes out of the chamber, he's jacked. Everyone knows that scene is wow. If I was just his level, I'd be done. I'd never stop worrying about getting bigger. And I remember saying you know what? I want to look like that. So I'm going to start my goals, short-term goals, turn to long-term goals, like we always talk about. and I'm going to achieve that body. And I remember texting this one girl, no names because this is online, that I was like, hey, I'm going to be as big as Captain America. Actually, some of my friends from my old fire department know this, but I told them the story too. And she's like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. And I was like, what? I was like, why? And she's like, you have to like eat a lot. I was like, I can still do it. I still remember that. And all the time now, I weighed.
Do you still talk to this girl?
No. It was, and we weren't even like talking or anything. She was just someone I knew from a class. And I was like, sorry for the mic loudness, but I was devastated. And then now I think I weighed 110 pounds at the time, 110, 5'6", 5'7", and then I slowly like gained weight over time and muscle, fat, muscle, fat, bulking, cutting, stuff like that. And now I'm 214, and I think technically he weighed like 210 in that video, and he's like 6 foot, and now I'm actually 6 foot 210.
Okay.
And yeah, I was so like, I never thought I'd be here, but
You want to just shut the podcast off and go celebrate?
yeah. Let's see that. All right, guys, have a good one.
No, but
What about you? Sorry, I haven't been.
no, you're good. I felt the same way. I don't know if I have had like somebody I looked up to in terms of like body, like goals, but I wanted to look good just for the like I guess the clout that you were supposedly supposed to get when you're with when you look good. You're supposed to get a bunch of girls, but in reality, when you start lifting weights, the only people that compliment you are dudes.
Other dudes. 100%. Honestly, it's like when you, how do you explain it? It's like you see people that are bigger than you, and you realize that even if people don't think that they're attractive or like, oh no, he's not even cute, blah blah blah, you realize that if you have a good physique, your overall, I don't want to say score, but like the mental score in your head that somebody you think would give you is higher if you have a higher physique.
Yeah,
Like you can see some dudes with like, I don't know, like faces like mine, no offense, crooked eyes, big nose, ugly buck teeth and shit like that. And as physique gets better, you're like, okay, he's not horribly ugly. He's just a little ugly because he has a physique.
I don't think you're
where
ugly,
if it was skinny, I mean, you can think what you want, but like when you're skinny, like I was, and you have, at least I didn't have that much confidence in my face.
Yeah.
Now I have self acceptance. That's not confidence. That's just like, can't change it. So yeah, and so I feel a little better now, but I think that's what started, and that's probably what you shared too. You saw something in people who like had it, and you were like, let's try to see what that's about.
Yes, for a little bit, but then I kind of just fell in love with it. I really enjoy working out, obviously, in bodybuilding and training because that's what I'm trying to make my life, my living out of nowadays.
Yeah.
And obviously, you have a shared passion for it too. I would say that it was first that, but then within the first 6 to 8 months, I didn't care.
Oh, 100%, dude. Like,
yeah, it was like a switch. Like maybe like the first girl that I like made out with after, that I didn't think I would be able to get with because I didn't look as good before, and then I realized I really enjoyed this stuff.
Yeah.
It changed my life. Obviously, it changed my life. I wouldn't be here right now doing this podcast with Levi if I didn't start getting into working out. But I know not everyone out there watching this is super into working out or super into bodybuilding or whatnot. So just wanted to put that out there. That it doesn't really lifting can be translated into a lot of different aspects of our life. It can kind of resonate with other people in different ways. It doesn't just have to be lifting. It could be any form of exercise. Something that's going to push you physically because it's got a weird mental connection towards what you do in life. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think I was about to say something. We were just talking about. Oh no, I really think we're on the 100% the same page about when you grow to like it, because then you like link stuff, and this is what when we started the topic, like at the beginning of the video, the kind of things I was thinking about.
Hold on, real quick, because something just popped in my mind.
Okay.
But the person who made me do that, because there's always somebody who has that transition who kind of like helped you through that transition. Do you know who I'm talking about right now?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? The person that we met through.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace, Philip Frossard. He was the kid who got me into, from being just a guy who liked working out for girls to like actually getting into bodybuilding.
Yeah, I wasn't too close. I think because me and Ryan Trainer were close.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan was a little bit closer with Philip than I was. And rest in peace. He died in a motorcycle accident, I think in
2017.
Was it 2017?
Yeah. 2016.
Okay.
2016. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed. I even got a bike after that. I crashed mine in 2019. But if you ride out there, Godspeed, because I work for fire rescue and I see a lot of the things that happen, and it's I think of riding like a drug. I don't mean to digress that much, but it's so fun. But there are consequences, and you could be careful all you want and stuff like that. But if you live in South Florida where we do, like I said, Godspeed, because it gets crazy down here. Up north is a different story. But no, you were talking about Philip. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, just real quick. He was real quick. Let's just I will say real quick, but this is about digression podcast about talking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember working out with him ever? Because that's how I met you originally. You know that, right?
I remember us on the treadmills being total annoying
me and
assholes. Me, you, Philip,
and running as fast as we can.
We were just running as fast as we can, like pushing each other's numbers down and like pushing ours up. And like if you're on 7.2, I'm on 7.3.
Do you remember that one day specifically? I remember a day specifically. It was me, you, Philip. I don't know if Ryan was there or not, but we were running on the treadmill and we were running as fast as we could all the way to the left of LA Fitness. We were on the left side, like
left side facing.
No, like
from downstairs. On the
it's the treadmill's right next to the door. So like when you walk into the door to the right. I'm sorry.
I don't remember that. No. I remember the ones on like when you walk in the front entrance to the ones that are straight ahead. I remember that.
I don't know.
But I remember us being retarded.
Yeah, I remember Philip talking to me about Russian Bear. Remember Russian Bear, the mass gainer? You remember that? He was big on mass gainers. But that's how me and Levi met, and then we like reconnected. Like a year ago.
I think I was pretty big on mass. I was convinced that mass gainers was the key to getting big. When in reality, it was the placebo. That when I was on mass gainer, I have to eat perfect and I have to lift hard and I got to make this mass gainer count. When in reality, it was because I would eat a good meal and then on a full stomach, I would sip the mass gainer. I was literally gaining 5 pounds a month.
I was too afraid to take mass gainers because I was a fat kid before. So I was like, I don't want to bulk up too much.
I've always been skinny, and then I was like, I started gaining 5 pounds. I told my friend, hey guys, I'm 135 now. They're like, okay. And then one kid that was lifting, he's like, didn't you say you were 125 like a long time ago? Yeah, and I was 130 like last month. Now I'm like 134, 135. It's like 5 pounds a month. That's not like natural. You're gonna like lose it. I remember people not believing that I was like being real. I remember in high school was creatine, like steroids. Dude, he's so creatine. So
Nitroflex. People thought I was taking steroids because I took Nitroflex.
Yeah, it's that CFB in it. It's calcium fructopyranose borate. What is that, like 2-hour testosterone booster?
Is it
I think it's a 2-hour temporary. I mean, I could look it up, but I don't really care.
Am I not natty now?
No, it's not even. It's like
probably some herb or something like that, or what is it?
I don't. I'll look it up. I think we'll do. Let's see. Fructopyranose. All right, here it is. Scholarly articles. We can go to peer-reviewed articles.
I remember people used to message me saying you take steroids. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And like the pre-workout you take, those are roids. I was like, no, they're not. Those are the GNC.
The worst thing you do right now, I think, is I don't really like any. I used to, but I mean, I get drug tests now. But is the pre-workouts with DMAA in it.
Yeah.
And you get increased focus, but like the old Jack 3 stuff.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have that. It's like amphetamines. Calcium fructoborate.
Thank God we took that out of buff sauce.
Naturally occurring boron dietary derivative serves as an important source of bioavailable dietary borate storage and, when administered orally, is effective in ameliorating symptoms of physiological response to stress, including inflammation of the mucous membranes, discomfort, and stiffness. I don't think that's calcium fructoborate. This is calcium fructoborate. Fructopyranose borate. CFB. See, this is potential can increase testosterone bodybuilders. This is a quick it's chemical with symbol B found in food. It's like a medicine. It says dietary boron influences activity of many metabolic enzymes as well as the metabolism of steroid hormones and several micronutrients, including calcium.
But the effect that would have on somebody,
it just increases your metabolism of using micronutrients. That's really all it says right now.
Yeah. So anyone out there who is taking a product that, says that it's going to boost your test by this amount and has ingredients that potentially could do those things, but there's not really a lot of stuff that backs it.
It says it's capable of increasing testosterone and beta. I don't know how you pronounce this.
I wanted to just make a real quick kind of like clarification. When it says testosterone boosting, it's, let's just say testosterone enhancing, because boosting seems like it's going to boost it no matter what. It could enhance the amount of testosterone in your body potentially, but it's not going to.
That's exactly what
it's not going to boost. You're not going to get like a a 50% increase. It could enhance your hormone levels by marginal levels, not by much.
Yeah. So also, I know if you could educate me, maybe you know this. If not, we'll look it up and maybe throw it in the next podcast. But I know you have testosterone, made in the male reproductive organs, and you also have free floating testosterone in your bloodstream.
Yes.
And some I know some supplements help you, like reabsorb that from your bloodstream, and some.
I think if I'm not too sure, but I think, like you said, the body has stored like testosterone that it has for specific functions in the body, and then it has.
Sorry, you get a little
Oh, you're good.
right.
Testosterone has testosterone. The body has specific uses for testosterone per se, right? I don't know how to express this very well, but free test. What was your question? Free test.
Is like I was just having you to just shed more light on like what you know.
From what I know about,
we have tests that is like made and used like throughout all day, muscle recovery and stuff like that. And then we have some like free floating in our blood, but we don't use it.
a lot of it gets oxidized and just gets kind of like not wasted per se, because a lot of the different things that go on in the body have reasons that have. We don't just produce stuff for no reason. Let's just say, for example, let's take sleep for example. If you sleep, bad. I know this is for a fact. If you sleep bad one night versus you sleep good one night, 8 hours versus let's say 3 or 4 hours, your free test levels are a lot higher. So when let's say you're in a state of trying to recover from a workout the day before, obviously testosterone is a steroid hormone in the body that helps increase anabolic effects in muscle recovery, muscle growth, and whatnot. So the free testosterone will just be more likely to be used.
And just so if you're new to the anabolic, anything catabolic is decreasing from, carbs to sugars, from, fats to like lipids. Wait, I think I got that backwards. Or from proteins to amino acids, and anything that's catabolic. Anabolic is building. It takes energy to become anabolic. It gives you energy to be catabolic. Like you break down stuff for energy. Anabolic is amino acids to proteins. Sugars to carbs, or glucose to carbs, or whatever. So just keep going.
No, so basically the free test in your body when it's higher, obviously it's better if you're in that state of growing. Like if you have a bunch of free tests and you don't work out and you don't do anything that requires an extra amount of testosterone to help promote these processes of like muscle protein synthesis or the trigger of mTOR in your muscle cells, whatever that may be. If you don't specifically have use for free testosterone, a lot of it just gets put towards sex drive.
Mm-hmm.
So your sex drive increases a lot. That's why there's a lot of horny guys out there. It's not a joke. Like genetically, people have more free tests than others.
Mm-hmm.
And they can go back to the sleep thing. Like if you sleep bad one night versus you sleep good one night, obviously your recovery will be a lot better if you're working out. And a lot of that has to do with the free testosterone that I think I don't know what the study is, but I've read and I've heard this on multiple occasions. It's up to like one night of bad sleep can like decrease your free testosterone by like up to 70%.
Really?
Yeah, not your total testosterone, not your serum testosterone.
I have like no testosterone.
No. Have you ever got a check before?
Actually, we did our blood tests last shift.
Did you get your test levels?
No result. I don't know when results come back.
I want to get my test levels tested out. I think normal is between.
It's 300 to 900.
I was 4 to 900, 4 to 1,000. Anything over 1,000 is like you have really good genetics or you're on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, if you have a bunch of free tests, like we know a lot of people have good genetics, and a lot of times it has to do with their free testosterone. It's just that's why people with good genetics and high test levels that work out see like a compounding effect.
Ollie,
yeah,
straight up, he's probably got high ass test.
Well, Ollie also, I know Ollie's got like I know this is kind of like not weird, but it's just kind of something to put together. Like people that have high sex drives typically build muscle better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean it doesn't mean that you're going to be aesthetic always. It doesn't mean you're always going to be like super shredded. But guys that have high sex drives, I would say my sex drive is high, but I can control it.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between sex drive and like self control. But I think I get exactly what you're saying, and it makes total sense. And I think I've known this before, but everything that comes with high testosterone comes with higher levels of testosterone. If you have lower levels of testosterone, you're going to have lower sex drive. You're going to build your muscle lower. You're going to have decreased amounts of energy, throughout the day.
Think about free test. Like I said, I'm not an expert on hormones and whatnot in the body, but from what I know and what I think is the truth. Like I said, a lot of those stuff out there too. It's not always set in stone. There's always new stuff coming out, new research coming out. People disagree on certain things. Think about free tests like an excess of carbohydrates in the bloodstream. Like if you have an excess of glucose in the bloodstream, it could either be used for something good. Like let's say you eat gummy bears before your lift and you're about to max out on squats, that could increase your squat, right? Like a lot of powerlifters will eat carbohydrates before their, max out attempts or whatever. The same way free testosterone can help increase the processes that are already in place, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like a base level of testosterone, which would be your serum testosterone levels, which are your blood testosterone levels, and then you have excess free test, like you're saying, that kind of just moves around the body without any sort of specific place to go per se. Like I said, the body kind of knows why. Like it's good at directing hormones to play in certain functions and whatnot. But when there's more of something and you're putting yourself in an area that needs more of that, it'll be used, if that makes sense. I don't know if you know what I'm saying.
No, that makes sense. Let me ask you this. So, and last question, we'll go back on track. We were talking about with lifting in relation.
But like
to
I said,
carbs.
I'm not like a hormone expert. It's probably one of the things that
I thought, isn't that? Don't you have a degree in endocrinology?
I'm not an endocrinologist, but I know what I know about specifics for bodybuilding and like fitness. But when it comes to like other processes of what testosterone does for your body in terms of outside of building muscle, it's a lot of what I have to say is just kind of building it off logic of what it does in terms of building muscle.
And you've done your research, right? I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then so last thing before we like regress, is that the opposite of digress? Regress? No, it's probably something totally different. Because regressing is like, okay, anyway, we're not gonna get psychology now, but let's say somebody's out there watching this and they have a lower sex drive. They don't feel like working out. They barely have energy. If they have a busy day from work, you get home, you're just tired. You just want to relax, and it feels like an endless cycle. Do you think introducing working out is there a key to kickstart that?
No, I definitely
cycle?
think they should get on SARMs and pro hormone.
Or do you think they should see a doctor about increasing test levels?
It depends on how bad it is, in my opinion. Like I might get a little bit of backlash for saying this, but not too much. What I'm about to say might touch people on a personal level, but it's kind of like the answer that I need to hear. A lot of people, by going to see a doctor, might not be the best case scenario, because a lot of times men have low testosterone levels due to the pharmacology side of certain parts of their ass.
Are you looking for the word pharmacological?
Yeah, is that the word?
Yeah.
Pharmacological. I'm not an English major, but like a lot of people take certain medicines and whatnot on their day-to-day levels to help them with another thing that's going on in their life. I don't want to be specific with that, but it could be, ranging from many different things. And a lot of those have really bad and adverse effects on, your overall hormone output. So
do you think
going to a doctor?
Now we're getting into like, I don't mean to cut you off, but do you think any of those many ranges of things could be optional? Do you think aren't really needed? I think we're both thinking the same thing.
That's a podcast for another time. Yes, I think so, but like I said, it's a very complicated question, because as much as I want to say yes, I mean, yeah, the quick and easy answer is, yeah, you should get into the gym. You should put your body into a state to where it's going to require yourself to be more in that realm. Like how do I put this? All right. So like if you go to the gym, let's say you have like a hormone imbalance and you're having problems like, keeping erections, and you have problems having energy all day long, you're like abusing yourself with caffeine, and you're like I am right now. You're like in a negative feedback system, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have a girlfriend, you're kind of like, you work, you come home, you're exhausted, you might do things that are not per se as good for you, in terms of like maybe you go out a lot, or maybe you don't sleep that much, maybe you sleep bad, maybe you're smoking whatever, whether that marijuana or cigarettes, whatever. When you put yourself in a negative feedback system, which just like keeps pushing you back, obviously going to the gym is going to help you break that cycle.
Yeah.
But it's a lot deeper than that sometimes, because sometimes you might go to the gym, but the gym is not going to be the only thing. And that's a lot of times people are going to be like, well, no, you should need to go to the gym. You should need to be in a healthy lifestyle. That's an easy answer to say. And yes, obviously that is the answer on like a broad level, but on a base level, when talking about how to enhance your life and make and change that system you've been in, it's a lot deeper than just the gym, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes, short answer, I recommend that anyone out there that's tired coming home from work or whatever you do, or just always in a bad mood or always in like a lazy mood, yes, going to the gym is probably one of the top things in my opinion, just to kind of like break that bad cycle.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's funny because we digress so far that we were literally
Come
recircled.
back.
This is like a perfect segue. And with no further ado, it's so funny. With no further ado, I think when you start lifting, whether it be to increase tests, whether it be to break a hobby, break a habit, introduce a new habit that's healthier. Honestly, if we're talking psychology, it's a good displacement. I know there's different defense mechanisms if you've learned your psychology and stuff like that. And I mean, instead of repressing and regressing, if you just truly think about in your head what's bothering you, and you lift weights, which is something like people can consider aggressive. You're putting up heavy work. You're putting in lots of energy. It depends on your exercise. You could be doing sprints. You could be doing sprints back and forth. You could be doing bodyweight exercises, push-ups. You could be doing calisthenics. Me and you both prefer weight training, and when you're pushing up, that daddy weight, you just think about what hurts you, and that's a good displacement.
Do you really think about that type of stuff when you're working out?
I used to, but I think I have a good life now that I mainly think about like what. Well, obviously, I think nowadays because it's such a routine, it's more about the music, again, the zone, and I enjoy lifting. I just think about the focus, the reps. There's so much going on in my mind at the gym with numbers and personal records and stuff like that. I'm more thinking about that kind of drive and form a lot. So when I knew less about form, reps, my goals, and what the next workout was, my mind would wander to things I'm upset about more. Now less.
I think now more is about just the business in general, because obviously it's trying to make this like the main thing that's going to drive my life and whatnot.
Like WPTM as in?
Yeah, water buffalo. But I don't really think about things when I work out. I kind of just do it. I enjoy it so much that it's like, like for example, for fishing, like for I enjoy fishing. Like if you go out and fish, and you see that you're not catching anything, you're kind of just like there to enjoy the experience of fishing.
Mhm.
I kind of like do the same thing with working out. I just enjoy the experience of lifting weights
I agree.
every day.
I didn't think about it like that, but I feel
If that makes sense. Like I'm kind of just there.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I can work out for like, I don't like to work out for 3 hours, but sometimes, especially if you're with somebody you haven't seen in a while, or like if you're just doing a body part you really enjoy, or let's say I'm doing shoulders and then I got to box and then I got to hit calves and I hit cardio. Sometimes you just get lost, and I just enjoy it so much. Sometimes you get lost in that routine that
Lost
it just,
in the sauce.
lost in the buff sauce basically. But
it's good. Yeah, actually,
but-
and not to mention Ali again, but like when Ali comes down, my workouts go from like 45 minutes to an hour of like hardcore, like no more than a minute or two in between sets, to like we're just talking. We work out for
that's not always a bad thing. It's
Yeah.
it's good. I enjoy those workouts as much as I enjoy the hard ones. But what was I gonna say? But like I was kind of saying earlier, like in terms of like how do I get better? Well, just go to the gym. All your problems will be solved. That's not true, because not everyone enjoys working out as much as me and you do. I would say that you and I probably enjoy working out very similarly. If not, maybe one of us enjoys it more than the other one. But I think that in terms of others and people that might not be such fitness fanatics, it's important to find not just a workout in terms of weights that fits them, but like a lifestyle that they can kind of like get into. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people don't even know that they like biking, jogging,
circuit training,
swimming.
So we can't even name it all.
Whatever that may be, freaking Pilates or yoga, whatever it be. There's so many avenues of fitness that it doesn't have to just be lifting weights. Now, lifting weights is fun because you have bodybuilding, powerlifting, CrossFit,
strength training in general.
Yeah, just being the best shape, and then being absolute like athletic training. There's so many different aspects of weight training that you can do, and you can mix them. A lot of them go hand in hand. A lot of people might disagree with what I just said, but if you're not going to be at like the top level and you just want to do it for fun, you can definitely powerlift, bodybuild, and combat train at the same time. It's a lot of the same things going, like I said, hand in hand. But for people out there that are having trouble and they struggle with finding, let's just say they're in the gym at LA Fitness, they're like, I hate this. I don't want to come here. This is boring to me. Blah blah. Then maybe weight training isn't for you. There's so many different avenues of fitness that are probably better for you because you'll enjoy them more than just weight training. So not everybody has to weight train. You can weight train once in a while, maybe once or twice a week, or maybe once or twice every 2 weeks. But staying active and pushing yourself physically, in my opinion, is extremely important because it translates over a lot of mental toughness. You learn how to push yourself and you learn how to get in tune with yourself in terms of the physicality and the mentality of things. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think I agree. Any type of physical fitness, and you could just find what works for you. And I think like, well, I'm gonna end this part of the conversation by saying like, it's even if you think working out is not for me, working out doesn't have to be, getting on the bench press and putting up 3 plates. It can be, if you have a dog and you love dogs, bro, or just run with your dogs, walk with your dogs, go out and play fetch with them. Like, I don't think my buddy has this Great Dane. There's no better workout than playing fetch with a Great Dane. There's no way you can outrun this thing. It is a beast. It'll knock you over if you guys. It's crazy. I think if you have small puppies, actually my old captain, he was literally telling me, he's like, he has I think he's a pit bull and I think he has a chihuahua. I don't know if he has any more dogs, but he's got great cardio, and him and the pit bull run for a while, but the chihuahua will never get tired. It's just, or I forget, it was a small dog. I hope it is a chihuahua, but it's just that the thing just keeps running. But I think Matt will be right back. But I think for the viewers, when you start lifting, and if you already lift, I think you can agree with us when we say lifting helps with every part of your life, because you start associating emotionally and mentally with so many other things in your life. And actually, I wish Matt was here, because I want to hear what he talks about when I say like just tearing things down and making them stronger. Like, when I say that, I guarantee whoever's watching this, you thought of whatever it is in your life that represents that, whether it be relationships. And when you go through the worst kind of relationships, you think it's the worst thing in your life. You think it's the end of the world, but little did you know that was making you just that much stronger of a person.
Okay,
I wanted to ask you.
I had to take a shit. Just kidding.
I wanted to ask you, like, how true is it that I don't know where we split, but I know when you link mentally, tearing things down and making them stronger, what do you think about? Obviously, besides the gym.
Bad situations. So like
100%.
situations you don't want to be in, but you're forced in.
Yeah. Situations, relationships,
relationships,
like
friendships, business partnerships, opportunities that may have fell through because it was your fault.
Mental energy,
Yeah,
like when you go through a lot of focus, and you have like when I started music, I didn't realize like making high quality professional music like would take us on a fast day, and this is a fast day, everything goes smoothly, it would take like 9 hours. And that's like not fully mixed. That's like tracking everything perfectly.
Well, yeah, I think that if you go back and you look at different people who have come to success, it takes a lot of time, like we've talked about before, to get to where you are. So your 9 hours is 9 hours now, but if you think in terms of like long term, you want to do it forever, the 9 hours is not always going to be 9 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, for sure. And I just meant like I couldn't handle that mental energy before, but
it does break you down. I mean, don't get me wrong.
As you go through more of that,
yeah,
you can handle more.
Yeah,
it not only gets easier for the same amount of time, you get to handle more, and it feels like it did before.
Well, it gets easier, but then you want to do more.
Exactly.
So like
just like the gym.
Yeah, exactly. Your goal was to hit 185 for 3 or 4 reps. You hit 225 now. Now you want to hit 405.
Yeah.
You finally hit 405, and you're like, is 500 pounds possible? Is that possible?
When you're at 225, you're like, I'm never gonna be at 500, and then you hit 405, and you're like,
it's not that far.
Give me like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, because
like eating this perfect.
Because I was not thinking much about doing this powerlifting competition, but I'm gonna be doing one in about less than 20, 25, in 21 days. Shit, I gotta get my singlet. And for me, I never lifted heavy, but I just started training for it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Not really training for it. I'm gonna focus more on the national one after I pass this qualifier.
It's for the experience.
Yeah, it's for the experience.
I hate when people say that.
But for me, it's for the content and for the ability. Water, but we can get all into.
No, I get it. I feel like you're one of those girls that they lift for like a year or two, and they get into what's it called, into bodybuilding competitions, and they get like last place, and then just for the experience.
Well, see, that's the difference, because for me, and now I know why people would go into a bodybuilding show looking like crap, because they're doing it for the experience. I'm not doing this for the experience. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm doing it for the brand, so we can get cool videos, we can get dope content. I can learn a different style of training a little bit, increase my knowledge, so I can help people out there too. See what works and what doesn't. But what the hell was I saying about I was thinking about powerlifting. So if I were to ever do a bodybuilding show, this is why I would never really do a bodybuilding show anytime soon, because I'm so in love with that sport. I like it so much that I would have to do balls to the walls, look my best on stage. But with powerlifting, I'm not like a powerlifting fanatic. So the fact that I can kind of just do it to enjoy myself, and you know what I mean? Like I can kind of just do it to do it rather than.
Yeah, it's not as taxing on every part.
Yeah, it's I'm not
changing your entire lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. I've already been training for almost 8 years now, and just to test in new waters. I'm all my lifts are up by like, my bench is up by like 40 pounds, and I haven't gained any weight. My squats are up by like 60, 80 pounds. From what I thought. See, I didn't know before. Maybe they're not as much. My deadlift is up like 100 pounds. So like a lot of things are just, it's awesome. And like you were saying, you get broken down, you think you're somewhere, but then now you want to reach the next level. And it's an amazing way to express yourself physically, because when you get to be able to hit PRs, you change the way that you see life. You know what I mean?
I think I don't know. We were just talking about right before the intermission. Oh yeah, powerlifting, that you're doing experience. Yeah. I guess when I went through a few examples of what I relate to, and I said relationships a few times, but think very, very specifically, like what was the end of the world to you when you were like in middle school? For me, it was like walking to class and realizing my shoelaces weren't tied. I was like, I'm an idiot. And I'm like, everybody saw it. You have the spotlight effect when you're a kid.
I was gonna say something funny, but I don't want to say.
No, and then like just like, and getting acne, and when your hormones are going crazy, and just like, I have a pimple on my face, and then
I don't know if I'm just an anomaly, but I never had those phases when I was younger. Like I don't know.
I mean,
what do you think that might be?
It's just obviously culture and stuff like that. Maybe my life was going so easy for me, and I didn't, because I know there's other unfortunate people in my middle school. We had an unfortunate student who was living out of his car for a time, and him and his family, he lived in the car with his mom, and they didn't get a house for like it was like 4 to 6 months, or not a house, a place, an actual place to sleep. And when you think about like what I went through and what I thought was like the worst thing in the world, boy, was I in for a rude awakening if I ever traded shoes with that kid.
Yeah.
Like you realize like how good you have it. And even people in here, like people could look at us and be like, wow, they have their own place to do podcasts like that. Obviously, we've worked hard, and people know how many hours we're grinding, and how tough it is for me to go through things like some things at work, and how many hours a day you have to grind on, your function to society. But I definitely think what's end of the world, and think about this though, what he went through, like that kid has made him stronger, and like he could probably go through so much at, let's go 3 years after that, sophomore year, me and that kid are both sophomores. Like what my mental capacity for stress would be nothing compared to his. Let's say I had like 2 homework assignments, an essay, and this girl I like stopped talking to me, and he's like, yo, do you have a bed in your room?
Yeah.
And I would like, bro, imagine his capacity just to deal with stress, to be grateful. And actually, I think that's what our next podcast, or in a few, should be like, just ways to stay grateful. I think everyone can agree, if you've done like some self-analyzing, that gratefulness is a lot of perspective. Yeah. And I think when it comes to lifting and just going through things in general, the lifting is like the it's literally physical stress. It's physical stress on your muscles. You're creating micro tears in your muscles. Your body says, "Oh, what happened? We can't let this happen again. Let's overcompensate, build more muscles, more glycogen storages, creatine phosphate storages, ATP, and whatever fatty acids this muscle needs. Let's make more and more and more. You get bigger,
Q matrix effect.
and then and you end up your size increases and your muscle fibers increases. You do it again and again and again, and eventually micro adds up. And so, hey, you look good. The best compliment anyone could ever give you for the entire week. Hey, you looking really big, bro. Your entire day's made, and like it's like 4 hours later, you're still thinking about that. You just look big today.
Do you work out, right? Sometimes,
yeah. You're like, hey, bro, you still in the gym? Or like when you like look at exceptional. I was wearing a tank top today. I forgot who sent it to me. So I was like, hey, you still working out? And I was like, okay, do I smile because they're complimenting me and my muscles reminded them to ask me, or do I cry because they think I'm sick? you know, and they think I've been starving myself. You know,
what's like the worst compliment you've ever got before?
The worst? What do you mean by worst?
Like, what's the comment someone gave you? You're like, damn, they like one of those where you they think it's a compliment, but to you it's not a compliment. It's like,
think it's a compliment. I don't know, probably somewhere along the lines of like, damn, you've been eating a lot. I was like,
yeah, like I remember one time I was in
no, I meant your arms. You mean this?
And I was like a junior in high school, and I think like I didn't really get the concept of bulking and cutting that much, and I was like kind of like on a bad bulk, and I didn't really. The worst is when you think you're doing a good bulk, but in reality you're fat, and you don't know that you're fat, so you're like, oh, I look big, I look juicy, and all this stuff. It's the same thing happened to me 2 summers ago. I was 228. I'm like 5'8", 5'9", and 228 at this size without taking roids and not having like the world's most pristine genetics does not look good. It just looks good with a t-shirt on. You look big.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But when you go to the beach and you got like, my stomach looks like like there's no more space for any more stomach. It's not like a lot of fat, but there was no more space for like the bulk bloat you get.
Yeah.
So it just like starts coming like out. It starts getting blocky. It starts to like build on each other. So you're walking around. So
I hate that shit. I remember
because
doing it just like that. Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. Some girl when I went to the beach, she was like, "Did you stop working out for a while?" And that was when I thought I was like, I looked at my best. I was like,
"No, it's not my final form."
I was like, "Yeah, I got an injury," and I had no injury. I was like,
"Yeah, I really hurt my spleen."
And then I went and looked in the car mirror, and I couldn't even. We have a problem when you're bulking. Like you,
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
I've used that effect many times. No, but you have a problem when you're bulking and you flex your abs in the car mirror and you can't see them. Because if you don't look good in a car mirror, you probably look like shit in real life.
I never have abs in a car mirror.
No?
Wait, no, I'm just kidding. I can have. It depends on what you define as
abs.
I meant washboard abs.
No, I meant just like a tight core. Like if you look fat in a car mirror, your bulk is for me. That's when I know my bulk is going a little bit too much.
Well, I don't think I've ever flexed and not had a tight core. I think, when you obviously when you just out there, this is a rude awakening. Abs, no matter what you see on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they're not from working out. They're from diet. Most of your
and genetics
too. If you're
mostly diet.
I shouldn't say that as a definite, but if you were wondering how to get abs and stuff like that, obviously it comes with strength. But even the person with like the less amount of muscle, if like soccer players and think about like all the kids in your high school soccer team, they're all skinny as hell because their caloric output is so big all day. But they show off their abs that are this skinny.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think a big part of the whole social media aspect of body, not dysmorphia, but just like the wanting to look like someone else's. You got to realize you'll never look like me, and you'll never look like Levi. Thank God for you. But like you'll never
ugly hell. You look like me.
You'll never look like anybody. You have to. The only thing you can look like is a better version of yourself.
Exactly, and
you can't compare. You can't look like anyone else other than yourself. That's why I said genetics. Obviously, genetics is a giant factor in terms of what you do for fitness. It's a factor, but it's not a limiter. If that makes sense. Your genetics does not limit you for shit. If you want to be shredded as fuck and you want to have abs, you want to look like I just said you don't want to look like someone else. But if you want to look similar to, like, let's say, a bodybuilder, you can look just like I don't care if you have the worst genetics in the world. But genetics is a factor. you're not going to have a six pack if you genetically only have 4-pack of abs. You're not going to have a peaking bicep if your bicep is genetically shorter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just trend hard, never give up,
Yeah.
and just I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Those are steroids. Those were steroid puns, but I definitely agree, and I think we were just talking about right before that. We went into don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to social media. Oh, that's what I hate. I hate when TikTok is the new social media. It's very, very volatile algorithm and stuff like that. And you've probably seen once if you're even into fitness a little bit. Do these do these 4 workouts for 8 weeks to get abs. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, it's been all
And I'm
over the
like,
place
oh my
forever.
gosh, like it's a lie. It's all a lie. Do these 5 workouts every day for bigger pecs. Yes, your pecs will get a little bigger, but they're not gonna look like the guys in the
Yeah,
video.
for sure. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did like a couple of those videos, but I didn't. I never say 4.
Idiot. No, I'm just kidding.
I never say 4. Like I never say do
4
these
8
exercises
weeks.
and get abs now.
No,
I say do these exercises and get. But you know what? You know what? I don't mind those videos if they actually have some good insight. Like for example, I did a video like that for chest. It didn't blow up or anything. It got like a couple thousand views, but I think that if people can do those and have actual tips, like one of my tips from that video was squeezing your chest and contracting it and really focusing on the muscle, almost feeling like it's about a burst. Like a lot of time I see quick ab routine, 3 exercises to get you abs in a week or in whatever you said. But it's like crunches, leg raises, and planks.
Yeah, the basics.
Like very, very old shit, basically. Not old, but just things that aren't intuitive at all.
They're broad. They're not telling you to engage your mind to muscle.
Like, how does that help you in any way? I don't mind if someone's like, do these 3 tips and increase your squat by 60 pounds or 100 pounds. And they're, teaching you the mechanics of a proper squat. And they're showing you, hey, you should, if you have a safety barbell, like I just got at my house, try that, try different variations of squat, try low bar, high bar. This is how you low bar, this is how you high bar. I don't mind that. Obviously, like you said, the flashy shit, like 8-week abs and 8-week, or whatever, get 100 pounds on your bench press in 1 week by doing this one exercise is dumb.
Or even something like just to add on what you said with the safety bar and the tips you said. I like even simple stuff like, hey, if you have a job where you sit a lot, try these 3 or 4 exercises to engage your abs more. And then if they could shed light in something educating you on how when you sit all day and you have a slight pelvic tilt or hypolordosis or anything,
There you go.
you might engage your hip flexors more than you do your lower abs.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I would
appreciate
way more.
That's intuitive.
Exactly.
That's not do these 3 exercises
to get abs in 8 weeks.
Like clapping push-ups, incline push-ups, and like regular push-ups. Like that shit's garbage.
Yeah.
Have some sort of intuitive, creative, and smart content that goes with it. And I think but at the end of the day, like me and you, we aren't like we're not even close to famous, so it doesn't matter what we think. But I think do I think it's harmful? Not really, because there's trash everywhere. Like there's garbage information everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly depends on the person and everything in life. You can't, especially when it comes to things that has to do with science, you can't force science out of what it is. Like you can't, it's physically impossible for you to be 400 pounds and get abs in a week.
They're truly bound by laws. Yeah.
Yeah. They're bound by a specific factor. That will never change.
Something I actually appreciated a lot and never realized till like this conversation is do you know Bo at the gym? He always has long braids. He looks like he fucking plays in the NFL. He's huge.
Does he play racquetball?
He plays racquetball a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know him personally, but
he's
black
awesome.
dude, right?
Yeah, he's a big black dude. He's awesome, and he's a personal trainer. He always makes fitness fun, and that's something that's very underrated. And I wonder how many snowflakes you get triggered by the words "big black dude." when you literally go up to Bo and be like, "Yo, you're the biggest black dude I've ever met in my life," you'd be like, "Thanks, bro. What's your name?" He'll meet. He's a teddy bear. He looks like a hard ass 2% body.
He's got small calves, right?
I don't think he has small calves.
No.
Dude, this guy's built in every way possible.
I'm thinking, man,
talk about free testosterone. This motherfucker's got like a lot. But I'm
trying to think.
He makes lifting fun. Like he'll do like push-ups, but he'll do push-ups up the stairs and literally go inverted with the person he's training. He's a personal trainer, obviously, and you do push-ups down the stairs. And you don't realize you're focusing on just getting down the stairs without falling, and how much you've pushed yourself just to not, eat shit. and then you're laughing and like, and he makes lifting fun. And obviously that probably doesn't seem fun. Sounds like that sounds
No,
horrible.
I like stuff like that. I
Yeah.
really do. I don't like this. I guess we can kind of not wrap up, but we can say a couple of our final thoughts. But maybe this might be one of our last topics. But you know what I don't like? I don't like people in the fitness industry that hate on, or like maybe people just work out in general. Like I don't, I don't like when people do creative things like that. Like that requires, that's creative, that's intuitive, that has its place, that can help somebody build muscle. But like someone that like power lifts is like, oh, that's dumb. That makes no sense. Like you should just do bench 3x8 and progressive overload.
I know someone just like that. They
I
shut shit
hate
down just
people like
because they
that,
don't
dude.
like to do it.
Yeah, and they usually have the worst physiques in the world.
Oh,
They always have they always look terrible. They're always I'm not trying to hate, but I'm gonna put it out there because they're I know a lot of people like that. Like they'll put up like keto is the biggest bullshit in the world. I don't even do keto.
Yeah.
I do lower carbs because that's what I enjoy, but I don't preach keto or anything like that. And then they're like putting up online keto sucks if it fits you or whatever.
And they haven't even tried it.
And they've never tried it, or they like the people that out there that do it look way better than them.
Yeah.
They perform way better than them. They have a lot more people that, and they have a lot of times they bash something like, let's just say that exercise, doing push-ups up the stairs or whatever the hell. There is some stupid shit. Like there is some dumb things that people do, and we can all whole fitness community can agree on that. But like something like that, to where like he's obviously probably doing it for like explosive training. The people that he's doing with probably are athletes.
Well, the guy he was doing it with was semi new to working out. Like he's not super beginner, but he's like just before intermediate. He looked like he just started getting some muscle on him, and he just needed motivation. And when you go to someone like Bo, he's like, "Oh, I'll get you motivated." Like,
yeah,
what we're gonna do today.
There's no problem with doing anything like that. There's no problem with challenging yourself. I enjoy that type of stuff. I think like the other day when I did lunges around the neighborhood.
Yeah,
like I don't need to do that. I could do 6 sets of 50 reps on lunges and be fine, or through 3 sets or whatever. But I want to challenge myself. And to people out there, it really gets on my nerves sometimes. I see like these posts from like these like very, I think it's in the powerlifting community. They're very like very basic. They're like, if you do more than 4 sets, you're overtraining and you're wasting your time. And then you go and look at their Instagram profile and they look terrible. Like they look like they don't even work out. Yeah. But I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I think that people should just allow others to express their creativity without criticism. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these, like that Bo guy probably has thought about a lot of, like I do a lot of weird workouts too. Like I do a lot of things that maybe not push-ups up the stairs, but I'll do little, things that maybe people don't know about. Cause I think, why do the same thing everyone else is doing? If you think about something logically, and like, let's say for example, the other day I was doing chest and I did dumbbell flies on a flat bench and I supersetted that with band flies, because I'm thinking in my head, dumbbell flies, you don't get a good contraction at the top, right? It's like not really a good position because the gravity of the way you're pulling is not.
It's not pushing. You're
exactly
resting on your joints.
Yeah. So you're more front delt when you're at the top. But if you're doing a cable, since the resistance is coming from this way, you get more tension here.
Yeah, because you're still countering the where the weight's pulling at the top of the lift.
So you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I get 100%.
So I'll do a dumbbell fly on the flat bench, and I'll superset that with a banded fly, so I can focus on the contraction on the banded fly and focus on the eccentric load on the dumbbell fly. Just little things like that. I appreciate people. If more people can do stuff like that, more people can do stuff like what that guy Bo is doing with push-ups up the stairs or whatever it may be. I feel like there's a lot of different things that we can get into. Like, there's just so much out there that I can't even explain. But when people limit these type of creative outlooks on fitness, like when they limit, what people's spectrum of knowledge might be by downplaying them because they have doctor in front of their name, I think it sucks, because it's there's a lot of cool things out there that people can do and help others. It might be helpful towards them, maybe not towards the person that says it's not, but maybe towards this guy who likes being motivated, who likes quick workouts. That up the stairs push-up thing might have been the thing, or whatever that might be. So that's just something I wanted to point out. Something I've seen in the fitness community is a lot of like bash towards bro science. But honestly, bro science, for the most part, always produces more results than base science, only science. Like, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion. I mean, that might be a really bold statement, but that's what I think. Because a lot of times bro science is real science. It's just nuances to it.
What do you mean by bro science? It depends. I'm trying to to level with you on what you're saying.
Like, for example, bro science might be like training a body part 3 times a week. Like, let's just say I have weak shoulders, so I do
Oh,
shoulders 3 times
okay.
a week because
Well,
I feel like it's going to help me. Like I said, there's a lot of nuances to what it is. Or bro science being like you have to eat your meal within 30 minutes after your workout.
and then bulk
It's
on it. Yeah.
it's important.
I think there's well, it depends. When you say the word bro science, and anybody watching this, you can think of multiple things. You can think of the famous YouTube channel by
Yeah,
Dom
bro
Mazzetti.
science.
You think of anything bro, like all brawn, no brain bros that just lift all day, and the only reason they're big is this is the only thing they do. But I think what you mean by bro science is the most mainstream ideas that are related to physical fitness and lifting that either get are common fallacies and stuff like that. I think we level with you, and we could even do like a next segment on like
Science
fact,
versus
yeah,
myth.
like true or false or fact or
Don't get me
myth.
wrong. I like studies. I like science, and I base everything off science. I'm probably more towards the science side, but I don't like when people bash bro science when the bro science actually makes sense. You know, obviously there's stupid
Yeah,
things out there.
yeah. Like, well, I don't like what's the high weight to get big and low
Yeah,
reps to
that's
get
bullshit.
toned.
That's bullshit.
Well, no, that's the thing. In what your head, because you're educated, your bro science is different from somebody else's bro science.
Yeah.
So maybe we get into something else because every time I hear like high weight to get whatever I just said,
like
like
I
I'm
said,
just like no.
I let me rephrase. I like to base my exercise philosophies in true science, but I like to be nuanced about it. You know what I mean? I
Okay,
like to
yeah,
nuance myself.
I get behind that.
So like a hybrid bro science.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what you're trying to say with your bro science, and I guess you're about to say something.
I was gonna say, for example, like there's a lot of people out there that talk about. I've seen this on multiple times. Like it doesn't matter how you squeeze the muscle or how you get a good stretch. All that matters is that you're overloading the muscle with weight, and all that stuff is kind of like just extra. It doesn't matter.
It depends.
In my opinion, I think it's probably one of the most important things to building an incredible physique. Not if you want to just get in shape and you just want to look good, that's fine. But if you want to truly look the best that you can look, push your genetic limits the way you can push it, it's not all about just lifting heavier or lifting more or doing more reps. It's about control, contraction, and effort and what's it called, execution.
Yeah, and actually, it depends. I'm gonna answer that and then segue into one thing before we wrap up. It also depends on what you're going for and what your end goal is.
Exactly.
So like, there's sarcoplasmic gains and there's how does it? I think myofibrillar gains, which is like the fibers. So if you're in, it's like hypertrophy versus strength training, and I like to hybrid my workouts. The beginning is always strength training. Like let's say it's chest day. Like start out heavy. Like start with incline bench or flat bench press, something heavyweight, and then go down into your bodybuilding exercises, your time under tension, your hypertrophy, and even my girlfriend. When she works out with me. She has kind of adapted this. You start with your strength training, and then I go the rest for hypertrophy, squeezing, mind and muscle, time and retention, stuff like that. So when you think about what you're doing is what's repairing. When you're overloading the weight and you're just it doesn't matter about contraction. It's about overloading the muscle. Yeah, you're tearing the fibers. That's myofibrillar gains, fibrillar gains. And if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, just tell me. But when you tear the muscle, your body's like, oh no, we can't let this happen again. It's overcompensate. You build more muscle.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sitting there, you have a 20-pound dumbbell. It's not heavy to a person like you or me or a seasoned lifter. You're just focusing on the tension. You're depleting the ATP, like I said earlier, the creatine phosphate, the glycogen storages at a certain point in time. And when your body says, oh no, we can't let that happen again, it overcompensates for that. Let's put more of those in, more storages in. All right, and then, but that costs space. So you're going to need more muscle space. But they're not totally uncorrelated. When you do a lot of hypertrophy, you will gain some strength. When you do a lot of strength training, you will gain some hypertrophy. They're not one and the same, but they're definitely correlated with each other. And that's when it gets down to the science of it, you know. But
I was gonna say the pump is one of the biggest things that I don't. I hate when people say that the pump is not important. I think the pump is equally as important as progressive overload in terms of building pure muscle.
In terms of hypertrophy, I think the pump is a good. Not only is it motivating itself, but it's a good signal. It's like a speedometer on how fast.
I'm talking about
going.
building pure muscle. If we're talking about gaining strength, obviously the pump is irrelevant.
Well, you mean gaining
muscle mass, gaining
mass.
size.
That's it. Because pure muscle can be defined in your fibers versus storages.
Just because you lift heavier doesn't mean that you're going to be putting yourself. Doesn't mean that your body's going to have to go through the hypertrophic mechanisms.
Yeah.
Just because you're lifting heavier weights, that doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not always true.
You
per
will
se.
have some, but the compass is pointing more towards actual muscle fibers than it is like the mass. Where when you go more towards hypertrophy, the compass is pointing a little more towards I think the mass, the energy storages, and that's where the hypertrophy comes from because you're building a little bit more muscle, but you're also
The
building.
pump is known as hypotrophy. It's like what's it called? It's not hypertrophy is permanent muscle gains. Hypotrophy is like instant muscle gain. Instant. It's when you get your blood. The blood fills the muscle, so you're instantly gaining muscle,
Mhm.
but it's not real muscle. Does that make sense?
I guess. I mean, Latin prefix wise, hypo is below, so like hypotrophy. I guess if your body is in a state of hypotrophy, it will temporarily get bigger to compensate for that in the moment.
If that makes sense. Well, I don't even know why I mentioned that, but what I was trying to say was the pump. If you think about it like this, the pump requires the body. There's a lot of benefits for getting a pump. One of the benefits is fresh blood and oxygen into the muscle cells, help them recover faster, help them perform better.
Mhm.
The more blood, the better. But the muscle cells, once they get full of blood, they expand. And if there's, let's say, 1 million muscle cells, the more they expand over time, the more the muscle wall and the fibers are going to grow.
Yeah.
And that's a way that, in my opinion, logically it makes sense. You can look it up scientifically. It'll help you grow muscle in the long term too, because obviously one workout, when you get a pump, your muscles are inflated per se.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the reason? Water, blood are being pushed into the cells. They're expanding for the short period of time. But over time, the millions of muscle cells that it happens to are going to eventually get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's instantaneous muscle growth. It's not true muscle growth. Hypertrophy is true muscle growth.
Yeah.
So obviously hypertrophy and hypotrophy, the pump together, and logically, I don't know how much scientific data there is in just the pump. I don't think there's a lot of out there to begin with. I don't think they test much on just purely the pump and how it helps. In terms of like studies by taking participants and checking. Like I know there's a lot of strength training to show how strength training leads to permanent muscle growth, but there is videos out there. There's doctors that talk about the pump and how the pump physiologically can help you grow muscle. Obviously, you need a mixture of both. Hypertrophy is the permanent growth of muscle, but hypotrophy, which would be the pump, has an instantaneous effect, which over time can compound and lead to hypertrophy.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I think we could even get into like different types of muscle mass that you gain, like I was mentioning before. But as we circle around towards a close, I think I implore you, if you haven't started lifting yet, or if you don't have any kind of physical fitness as a part of your lifestyle, I guarantee it helps you in so many ways more than one. Just in thinking about like um stress in all types is kind of good for you, and I mean I'm religious, and I think that when you're put through lots of mental stresses and hard points in your life, I think it's for a reason. Because if you had the same amounts of stress as a 24-year-old adult like me as you did when you were 11 years old in middle school, you'd be pretty much a baby still, and you'd be the equivalent of a snowflake. And I think I'm not trying to get too political, but I think a lot of the reasons that people are what we call snowflakes now, and they are getting to the point where they think their life's overloading, they're going into depression and things like that. This is just my opinion, and I could totally get shamed for this. I can imagine everything shamed for this, but I think it's because they haven't gone through enough before. And if life is really easy, and then all of a sudden it comes down on you, it can be really difficult. It can be really difficult, and I side with them. But I think the more hardships you're exposed to earlier, that's why in parenting is such a huge thing. My kid will not have it that easy. I will obviously I'm gonna love the kid. I'm gonna spoil him to death. But there are gonna be some points in time where he's not gonna be able to have it easy. He's not just gonna be given everything. There's a lot of things he's gonna have to earn. There's a lot of stresses that might be my fault on him. It's only gonna reward him later in life the way that my dad's rewarded me. And there's some things that I never saw why my dad did things, and I realized it's made me the man I am today.
I 100% agree.
And I think when you go through that mental stress, you realize how much you can take. And even I never realized from all my instructors through EMT, fire, paramedic, all the certifications you go through to become a firefighter paramedic, the reason that the testing processes is so stressful is to train you to think intelligently under high pressure. And I never realized that while you're getting yelled at all the time, while you're getting spit down your neck just because your water bottle was closer than 6 inches to the spout when you're filling up your water, they're trying to stress you out to condition you. And you realize in the moment how much you hate them. And I'm sure like, dude, I'm a grown adult and I'm just trying to get the certification and I'm being yelled at like I'm a like 12-year-old kid. But they're purposely trying to stress you out for your job. And if you didn't go through that, you might not have been able to perform at the same level when you're going through a real emergency scene during your employment. And I think all of that I just talked about mentally, same thing physically, and you realize how much they're linked. As you grow and you explore more into the field of physical fitness, the types of ways you grow, whether it be hypertrophy, whether it be just strength training, powerlifting, bodybuilding, and your specific avenues that you specialize in when it comes to fitness. It could be circuit training, sports. I think you'll realize how much you connect lifting with life.
I would 100% agree with you on that. I think that throughout our many different trials and tribulations in this life, we should be very grateful for the fact that we're able to find ways to push ourselves physically without, putting ourselves in bad positions. I think the constant stimulus of the gym is an amazing way to continue to push yourself without literally pushing yourself.
Yeah, because physical energy and mental energy is different. If you're going through a fine time and you don't want to make your time worse, you're not gonna, I'm gonna have a great relationship, I'm gonna break up with this girl just to get stronger. You're not gonna do that, but you're gonna up that weight on your lifts.
You should. If you're going through a bad relationship, you should.
Oh no, I meant a good relationship.
Okay.
If you're going through a good relationship, you're like, I need to get stronger mentally.
Yeah, fuck it.
You know what? Let me just toss this wrench in the tools. Yeah. But I think it's
losses are important. Hard times are important. That's why I may have grown up maybe not experiencing a lot of pressure as maybe people that were less, fortunate than myself. Obviously there's people that are way more fortunate than me and you growing up, but that's why I feel like in the past couple of years, I've put myself under more pressure to learn those skills because maybe, when I was 14 years old, I wasn't, finding out where my next meal was going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
So, recently as I changed my mindset on things, I try to put myself under more pressure to kind of guide myself into a state where I'm able to handle multiple things at once.
Yeah.
I 3 or 4 years ago, the only thing I was worried about was going to the gym. Now that's like one of 6 things in the day.
Gym, come back, or play video games, and that's life.
Yeah.
That's it.
Honestly, though, real quick before we close out, I do miss the days, though, in high school once in a while of just getting home, taking a nap. I haven't taken a nap in years, but taking a nap, training, and eating like a king, going to sleep, sleeping in.
Restart.
School, bullshit all day, social media in school, friends, blah, blah, making fun of teachers. Going home, having a fat meal.
No respect.
Taking a 2-hour nap. Going home, getting home at 4, because I would go into Suncoast. Eating a giant meal around 4:30. Bullshitting on social media for 20, 30 minutes. Taking a nap for an hour and a half. Waking up at 6:45, 7. Having another meal. Getting to LA's Fitness at 7:45. Coming back home at 9:45. Eating another fat meal. Going straight to bed. Getting up and the same thing.
You definitely, you don't find how much love you had for the routine till it's gone.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my life will never be like that again because I have more goals. And that's another thing. When you get into something like physical fitness and mental and getting mentally tough, you start to wonder what you can do,
Yeah. And actually, this is one of the biggest things. This is actually one of the reasons I started the conversation. You don't realize that the bigger your goals are, the more work you put on yourself. And that goes to real life too. If your life is really easy, you have to really self-analyze. Is it easy because you've worked so hard, you've finally gotten to a point that you've achieved? Or is it so easy because your goals aren't very high?
That's true.
I'm not saying life should be hard. I wish upon everyone that they live their dream. Because I know some people, their dream is to have 2 kids and go to work and return every day to their home. And some people don't get that. Some people have lost a loved one and they don't just get to sit at home with their family, have a nuclear family that they enjoy the time with each other all the time, and life's it for everybody. But just going to work and back and doing nothing but watching TV and stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you start to, like you said, include more goals and include things that you want more, if they're true goals that aren't instant gratification, they're going to require work most of the time.
100%.
And sorry, I want to add this last thing. I remember mentally, I was talking to my drummer the other day, and he was like, well, let's say we're doing 9 hours in the studio, and I would have never been able to handle that when I just first started the band. I get this fatigue. Our producer has the fatigue. Our drummer's like, his head's against the door. We started at 12 or 1, and it's almost 9 or 10 at night, and we're just like, fuck, we've been at this mentally forever. I love that feeling because it's almost that's like the mental pump. I know nobody likes that, but that back of your neck stress and that weird heat that you feel and that mental fatigue, and you can nod off any second. If I sit in a chair, that to me is like, I worked hard. Something's good coming out of this, and I worry about other people's. I'm like, hey, you all right? Do you want me to get you caffeine? But for me, I'm just like, fuck yes. And have you seen that meme? It's like, there's the two, like, they look like regular just frat boys working out, and he's like pretending to yell at his friend. He's like, what do we do with our feelings? It's like, we hide them in our muscles. He goes, and how do we hide more feelings? We get bigger muscles. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
It's so funny.
Check it out.
But like, yeah, I think that's almost like a funny meme, but in a way of saying like, yeah, as you get bigger and you practice your physical stress, that should be indicative and also metaphorical for the more you go through in this life, the more you'll be able to handle.
I definitely agree. Well, I appreciate Levi for another podcast, even though this is his show. So thank you for having me on.
It's not my show. This is the Buff Talk by Matt Wen.
Nah. It's the Buff Talk by Levi Ruiz. But we appreciate you guys for watching. This was a great episode. We can't wait to see you guys on the next episode of Buff Talk. So stay tuned for that. We're hopefully going to be expanding our operations and having more and more different talks. And well, we're going to have more talks anyway, but expanding our operations, maybe get some people to come out and check out this little thing we got going on here, change up the scenery a little bit. So we got a lot of different things. We're just trying to put all this content together, trying to get this project rolling out. So we appreciate you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys for subscribing to our channel. By now we should have 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for the $16 checks that you guys are writing Water Buffalo. We appreciate it.
Yeah. It's honestly having fun. And I love how we welcome digression. Sometimes I enjoy like talks and talk shows, stuff like that. But the thing I enjoy about this one is it doesn't matter if we go off topic.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy the conversation, and it's usually productive a certain way anyway.
For sure.
So,
anyways,
have a good one, guys.
Yep.
And till next time.
Peace.
I'm Levi. This is Matt.
Yep. For Levi Ruiz, this is old school Matt. This is a Buff Talk.
All right.
Peace.
Later.